Good morning and welcome to the Burnside Bowling Green here in Christchurch, where we're into day 7 of the Summerset National Championships, and we'll be featuring the Paras singles final. Will be our first game this morning, where we've got Graham Skillern of Takapuna in North Harbour and Bruce Wakefield up against from the Burnside Club here in Christchurch. Immediately after that, of course, we'll have pairs, and also going on here at Burnside and around the greens of Christchurch, we've got round 1 a post-section play of the women's singles and also that of the men's pairs. They're using the greens today at Burnside, Christchurch, Fendleton, Papanui and Belfast. And throughout the day, we'll be bringing you through updates from those particular games. So, marker here in this game, Ross Bell from the Burnside Club here in Christchurch. Absolutely perfect conditions here this morning. We had a bit of a nippy day yesterday, a bit of a challenging day, but this morning the sun's out. Not a cloud in the sky here really at Burnside, and we're in for an absolutely stunning day as we in the penultimate day here of the Summerset National Championships. And play got underway here with Graham Skillern scoring a 3 on the first end. Remembering in this format, it's not the ends that count. It's actually the first to 21. Great bowl played there by Skillern, sat on the Wakefield bowl, and Ross
Jack
Bell.
Level.
And you'll hear the microphone there. Ross Bell is just indicating to Bruce Wakefield that the shot bowl is that Jack Level. Wakefield, very, very accomplished player here out of the Burnside Club in Christchurch, and has won a number of events, and of course was a silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast in 2018, and no doubt will be endeavouring to pursue that selection again and be part of the para team, which will be participating in Birmingham later on this year. Graham Skillern, born and bred New Plymouth boy, and very, very good sportsman in his younger day. In fact, a very, very good tennis player at the Huatoki Tennis Club on the backhand. Skillern, of course, has played representative bowls for Bay of Plenty, North Harbour and Auckland. And Bruce Wakefield has been as part of the Canterbury representative format as well. So two very, very good bowlers and have performed well in the Open Championships and now playing in the para format. And it's great to have these players here. Yesterday we had the New Zealand blind bowls in action, and that was a real education for me to watch those players. They they certainly don't regard themselves with any disability. They just get out there with their head director and do a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. And it was great to have them here yesterday. And now it's the disabled Skillern on the backhand, scoring a 3 on the very first end. Now playing in the Bay of Plenty. Drawing down to the bowl, sits on top of it, just slides by the Wakefield second shot. I'm sure Wakefield will endeavour to come down on that backhand side on his forehand to rest that shot bowl. We'll get a touch on the jack to see how far that bowl comes back to the centre line. Certainly breaking back now, but won't come back all the way. And Ross Bell will indicate, I'm sure, that it is 1-2. Graham Skillern, and you'll see that scoreboard change in this race to 21. And then the second game we'll be bringing live on Sky Sport next is that of the pairs, which we will see Graham Reardon of Canterbury will be up against Caroline Crawford of Dunedin. And of course, throughout the day, we'll be bringing you updates from the post-section play of the women's singles and the men's pairs from around the greens here in Christchurch. And tomorrow we'll be down to the final stages, and we'll be bringing you live all of the final action in both that of the women's singles and men's pairs. So the sun, you can see, just streaming down. Skillern on the backhand. The hands cupped over the forehead, just sheltering from the sun. I presume an easier option would be to put a cap on, I suppose. As we see this first bolt of Graham Skillern's just sit in behind the jack. Very, very good opening bowl from the Takapuna club player. Wakefield go to his forehand. And Bruce Wakefield, a long-time member of the Burnside club. And good bowler. Plays in all the Canterbury events as well. Just slides by. And at the completion of these national championships, I know that Bruce Wakefield, I'm sure, will be lining up in that of the Burnside Peers, which gets underway at the back end of next week, as we see this bowler Skillern just slightly under the jack line. Pretty good weight though. Will finish jack level, holding the shot at about 5 o'clock, about 14 inches behind the jack. Wakefield, of course, was part of that silver medal team with the late Barry Winks at the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast in 2018, and he'll be endeavouring, of course, to be part of the Commonwealth Games side in 2022 at Birmingham. Skillern holding the shot on the backhand, certainly on a wider line than what his second bowl was. Coming down towards the head now. Green looks to be running absolutely magnificent this morning, around the 16 seconds. You'll see that lovely arc that the bowl's got, and the Skillern bowl sits right alongside the jack. So I'm sure Bruce Wakefield will be endeavouring to reach on his forehand. Definitely two down is Wakefield, and he's certainly on a, how's the weight? Certainly on a good line. Has it got the weight to get all the way? No, it won't. It was certainly had that very, very good line to get to the jack. The yellow, you see the yellow jack there sitting right on the 2 metre mark. I'm sure if we watched Graham Skillern's earlier bowls, they got around, would get around that bowl without any issue at all. That shorter bowl of Wakefield's. Here's Skillern, the blue wave Takapuna t-shirt on, and he's on that line outside that of the bowl of Wakefield's, and this will be close as well as it breaks its way now towards the head and sits. I just wonder whether we might see Bruce Wakefield elect to change his hand, and he is on the backhand to try and play down to reach through the bowls or make contact with the jack, and he's going to be under the head and collect nothing. And looking at, say that would be a 3 to Graham Skillern of Takapuna. We'll just wait for Ross Bell, the marker, to confirm that. Let the players have a look. To see whether it's 3 or 4. I think it was 3. It is confirmed as 3. And of course, to say Ian's don't count in this particular format. It's the first 21 shots. So Ian's and time are not a burden if you're behind. It's just you don't run out of ends. You just run out of numbers, unfortunately, in that race to 21. So here's Graham Skillern standing back, bit of movement there. Walks off the mat. Former, of course, he was a long-time reporter for the New Zealand Herald and in the Bay of Plenty Times. As he watches bowl coming towards the jack, just going to sit over the jack, coming right back to that centre line, but 1.5 metres high over the jack. So Bruce Wakefield will be endeavouring to capitalise and get his first bowl as close as possible to get his hopeful scoring underway. So here is Wakefield on the backhand. He's certainly on a tighter line than the Graham Scullion bowls. Different bowls they're using, of course, means they've got a different draw line. And this looks a good bowl from Wakefield as it breaks towards the jack, just drops past the jack, sits about 20 inches behind the jack at about 5 o'clock. Scullion on his forehand. And he too has brought his line in. I just wonder whether, with the bowls that he's using, whether he may have more with weight than anything. Just goes by. So it's Bruce Wakefield holding the shot, the Burnside player. Some big clashes. And out behind us here, well, around the greens of Christchurch, there's certainly some big clashes in both the men's pairs and women's singles. As we watch this second bowl of Bruce Wakefield's, comes down towards the jack, well played. And Ross Bell, you'll see clearly, thank you, indicating with the lollipops, 2 shots to the Burnside player. Scullion's been metre over with his first 2. And see whether he adjusts where this is third bowl. Head on that very good arc to the jack line. Just how far is it going to come back now? Certainly moving back now. Needs to just sit inside that of the Bruce Wakefield bowls, and does so. Sits right on top of the bowls. Well played from Graham Scullion. Wakefield will play now on his backhand. He won't mind if he was to get a touch on the jack. He's got 2 bowls sitting there in the catching pen, as I'd call it. So any movement on the jack, and he's trying hard to get there right now. Is it going to get to the jack? Yes, it does. Does it bounce around it? Yes, it does. Superb bowl there from Bruce Wakefield. We'll wait for Ross Bell to indicate to us. I think it was 1 shot to Bruce Wakefield with that side bowl after that magnificent bowl that he just played. Graham Scullion coming up to have a look. Certainly can't be too aggressive and dislodge his own bowl out of the head, because he would be lying 3 down. So having a good look at it, Scullion. And of course, Bruce Wakefield with the advantage of having his 2 bowls in behind the head. So any jack movement deeper on the rink would certainly favour Graham Scullion. So he has to be careful with his weight. Might change his weight, might change his hand and play on the forehand to see if he can face the bowl out. So he's had a good look at the head, has Graham Scullion from the Takapuna Club. Ross Bell now looking over it to see whether he can give us any indication of who may have shot. I had just from, it's difficult from the camera angles, but just the way how the jack seemed to move, I thought the right-hand side bowl of, you can see there the middle bowl in that triangle looks to be the shot. Maybe 2, and as we thought, Scullion going for playing that with weight. On the other hand, might get the cannon here, and does, and goes through with it to the ditch. Toucher on the ditch, in the ditch. Well played there from Graham Scullion, and in doing so moved some of his bowls back as well. It was a great attacking shot from the Takapuna player, and no doubt Bruce Wakefield asking the marker. You can see there the brown bowl of Graham Scullion's sitting in the ditch, and you can, it's 3 to Graham Scullion.
Ditch.
And you can see what the golf ball out towards the
chop bowls. This one here.
And the red marker line for the rink, you'll see the golf ball there, just set inside there by about a foot. And that's where the jack is lying directly underneath. A big bowl here from Bruce Wakefield. Just Scalone really played a top bowl. And I think his big thing here is to try and cut the count down. But is he going to do so? I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be short. So Graham Scullin turned into what was a really bad head for him. Turned it into a winning head. With getting the jack into the ditch. Very adventurous because we clipped his own bowl out. He was looking at 3 down. So no doubt they'll have a look to see, to confirm in this race to 21. And calling for the umpire for a measure. So the umpire will come out and mark those bowls. And just to, from what's going on the greens here today in Christchurch, and some of the big matches that in the women's singles, we've got Reen Ballas of Whanganui up against the defending champion Nicole Toomey of Victoria and Wellington. Taylor Bruce of the home club here in Burnside up against Jenny Stockford of Auckland. One of the big clashes is the 2 New Zealand squad members, Selena Goddard and Lisa Prideaux, and they're playing out here on the front green. That's a big clash. Debbie White, the winner 2 years ago in Auckland, playing the young up-and-coming star of Taranaki, Briar Atkinson of the Paratutu Club. Mandy Boyd is up against Donalda Scott and Claire Hendra of Wellington, up against a very, very well-performed Lindley O'Callaghan of Alexandra. Sandra Keith, who earlier on, of course, in the week won the pairs with Bev Morrell. She's playing the world under-25 singles champion, Paris Baker of Auckland. Paris Baker won the world under-25 indoor championships in the UK. Angela Boyd, former blackjack, up against the New Zealand Bowler of the Year, Val Smith. And Sarah Scott of Dunedin of North East Valley, that famous Scott name, up against Kerry Williams. And in the men's pairs, some of the big games is our singles winner from a few days ago, Kelvin Scott, up against Morris Symes. Michael Galloway, the winner of the singles last year, and of course semi-finalist this year. He's up against a very, very well-performed Bannockburn player, Sean Scott. Gary Lawson playing with Tony Grantham, runner-up in the pairs, up against Stephen Ditford. Dan Dickinson, runner-up last year, playing Craig Carter. Raymond Martin, the winner of 2 years ago, playing Russell Dorr. Andrew Kelly and Seamus Curtin, New Zealand squad members, up against Kerry Becks of Canterbury. And the defending champion, Lance Pascoe and Jamie Hill, they are up against Bradley Down of Plympton. So those knockout matches are underway around the greens at the Burnside Club, of course, the Christchurch Club, Fendleton, Papanui and Belfast. And, of course, those numbers will be halved round by round now throughout the day, and we'll be down just to the final stages to be played here at Burnside tomorrow morning. It's getting underway tomorrow morning at 8:30, and there'll be 3 games which we'll be bringing in the Sky Sport Next coverage for you to enjoy from 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And it was a 3, so Graham Scullin drops out to a 10-0 lead. That's a very, very good start from the Takapuna player. And certainly has shown his drawing ability very, very early on in this game. But of course, Bruce Wakefield, certainly don't take anything away from Wakefield's ability. Winner of Canterbury titles, and of course, a silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games in 2018 on the Gold Coast. Playing with one of the legends of para bowls, the late Barry Winks, who sadly passed away about 18 months ago. A great advocate, fantastic supporter of the para movement, and it's certainly great to see Bowls New Zealand. Big pat on the back to Bowls New Zealand for how they adopt the inclusive attitude of this sport. It's a game for all, that's for sure. And this is most evident here at the Summerset National Championships and the various other programs and events that they have throughout the season. And the inclusiveness is just fantastic. And I had the pleasure last night of talking with Kevin Smith, who's been involved with the blind bowls now for a long, long, long time, and it was the director of yesterday in the Burnside players, and gave me a wee bit of an insight. And by goodness, it's absolutely outstanding what these players can do with their sort of reduced capabilities of some things. As you watch Skillern just dip past the jack and holding shots, but quite some way away, playing on his backhand. Wakefield on his forehand, playing at the Burnside club, his home club, of course. And brother of Bruce, Grant, who plays out of the Johnsonville club, former New Zealand title holder, and draws right to the centre line, and that's the shot as indicated by Ross Bell. So brother Grant also won a New Zealand Peers title. So high performance is certainly in the Wakefield family. Scullin trying to adjust now. Has he adjusted with his weight all the way? Looks a pretty good line. And will break in towards the jack. Finishes jack low. Sits at about jack 2 o'clock. About, you heard Ross Bell, the marker, saying just a foot and a bit. Low of the jack. So change to the backhand from Bruce Wakefield, who would like to get to the jack or even touch the jack. Coming to just going to drop under the head though. Needs to sit inside the Skillern bowl. In fact, comes a metre short. Might see Skillern here. He has changed his hand just to give himself some protection. So on the forehand is Graham Skillern. And looks on a field, pretty good line. This bowler, Graham Scullins, how fast is it going to run? Doesn't want to push the jack back too far, and will do so. And I would say, looking from my angle here, that may have shot. Yes, there he has that touch of the jack. In fact, gave Bruce Wakefield the shot. It was a good bowl by Scullin, but just moved the jack just a wee bit too far. So here is Grant Wakefield now, who's going to open up his account. Like to get another one, trailing 10-0, but holding the shot. He might be fortunate here if he sits on the inside of the bowl, won't roll in far enough, and it'll just be the one. He'll be quite happy to open his account. Just the one, as we thought. So 10-1 to Graham Scullin in this race to 21. And we've been so fortunate here in Christchurch to date, with a day and a half to go. The weather, although the temperature dropped a bit yesterday, the weather, we've had outstanding weather with no adversity. No plays been called off or had to be greens transferred or anything at all throughout the first 6 days of this national championship. And of course, later on in February, we'll be in Taranaki, where the Summerset National Fours will be held, and also the mixed pairs. And I'll put the plug out there for anyone that yet hasn't made their team, whether it be in the men's or women's fours or the mixed pairs. Get your entry in and get down to Taranaki, because you'll be treated well. Great greens, great catering, lovely part of the countryside, and you'll thoroughly enjoy a couple of, a week and a bit down in Taranaki. The Taranaki public and Bowls Taranaki will certainly look after you well. And of course, we'll be there bringing you the live coverage from those Summerset National Fours and mixed pairs. The greenkeeper here, well, the greenkeepers, I should say, in Christchurch, big pat on the back. green here at Burnside is absolutely immaculate, and it's been a challenge for the greenkeepers this last year with COVID, lockdowns, all sorts of things going on. Just made preparation and maintenance of the greens pretty challenging, but they really rolled their sleeves up, and with the advisory of the New Zealand Greenkeepers Association and no doubt the New Zealand turf culture, we've got a surface here, or surfaces I should say, in Christchurch, which are absolutely outstanding. And talking to all the players to date that I've spoken to, no, I haven't heard one adverse comment about the greens, and that includes those that lost as well. So well done to the greenkeepers and the greenkeeping staff around the greens of Christchurch. Done a wonderful job to present these greens for the Summerset National Championships. And of course Burnside, who have hosted and been headquarters to the World Bowls in both 2008, 2016, always produce first-class greens, and they've done it again with their new greenkeeper, Jamie. They've done a wonderful job here again as we watch Graham Skillern draw right to the centre line and behind the jack. Indicator now would be from Ross Bell. He's laying 2 shots. So Skillern certainly putting on a pretty good exhibition of drawing to date this morning and making life pretty challenging for the Burnside player, as we watched this third bowler, Wakefield's trying to draw down to the shot bowl. It's a great effort, but it needs to fall in. Falls in, but still I don't think it'll make shot. It is 1-2. Yeah, 1 to Graham Skillern. You see, heard Ross Bell there indicating that the bowl immediately behind the yellow jack is shot. So only 1 roll away there was Bruce Wakefield from making shot. So Skillern will score another as he plays his last bowl. Looks to just have a fraction of weight on it. It'll go past what is a shot bowl. Yes, it will. And as indicated by Ross Bell, the Mike Perot mortgage broker, that it will be a 1 to Graham Skillern. Although Bruce Wakefield having a good look at it. And I'll put the measure on. And of course these guys played through section play. They had singles and pairs as well, and they've been playing right throughout the week in their various qualifying and through to finals. And there it is, just flicked away. The burgundy coloured Graham Skillern bowl. There you get a view of this beautiful setting here at Burnside Bowling Club in Christchurch, just around the corner from Burnside Park. And beautiful reserve and lovely setting here, just not far, in fact, from Christchurch Airport, only a kilometre and a bit from Christchurch Airport. To watch Graham Skillern on the backhand, the North Harbour player, and Bay of Plenty player, but playing out of the Takapuna Club. Draws jack level, just literally at about 3 o'clock, 14 inches jack level. And of course, today we've had 2 days of covering the events. The green been turned around. They were playing the opposite direction the last couple of days. Greenkeeper now changed it around, and it seems just to have a perfect draw on both hands. Doesn't seem to make any difference at all, whether it be forehand or backhand or what length it is. And of course, with no wind, look out the trees out in front of us here, and there's not a breath of wind. They're completely still as Skillern on the backhand, leading 11-1 in this race to 21 of the final of the para singles. Of course, there's Commonwealth Game spots that are up for selection. Because the para and blind bowlers, of course, form part of the New Zealand side that will compete at Birmingham later on this year, where the bowls will be played at the famous Leamington on Spa, which is not actually in Birmingham, but not far away actually from Birmingham. But it's a fantastic facility, park, really big, like a big park at Leamington on Spa. And I had the pleasure of being there 2 years ago, and multiple number, there's 5 greens there, and again it's in a big park-like area, and the greens. And I've had confirmation to me in the last 2 days from within the World Bowls echelons that the greens will be running at between 12 to 13 seconds. 2 down. You heard Ross Bell, the marker, indicate to Bruce Wakefield. So the greens run between 12 to 13 seconds in Birmingham, which really is not too great it's not that challenging for the New Zealand players, and especially Australian players who are used to greens around 17, 18. They can quickly adjust, and I'm sure Mike Kernahan and the high performance group will be working with their group of players to ensure that they will be able to handle these greens. In the old days, of course, in the UK, we were used to greens running at around 8 to 9 seconds, and it's certainly 12 to 13 is certainly more conducive and playable than greens around 8 to 9 second speed, that's for sure. So Graham Skern holding 2 shots, as you see there, indicated by Ross Bell. On the forehand is Bruce Wakefield, and trying to draw inside those Graham Skellin counters. It's breaking its way back towards the head now. Is it going to come all the way back or just sit inside his own bowl? It just touches his own bowl. Well, may have saved one actually. Did get a roll out of his bowl. We'll just see. And just the one. It did cut one of the shots out. So 12-1 now to Graham Skellin of the Takapuna Club. Very strong club now, Takapuna. Number of really top players there. Selena Goddard, Robin Walker. Philip Skoglin has now joined Takapuna as well. Wendy Jensen. Certainly a number of the North Harbour leading players are now playing at Takapuna. So Graham Skellin with a great start here in this final as he plays, just draws lower the jack, sitting just past 12 o'clock, about 20 inches lower the jack. On his forehand is Bruce Wakefield. Looks on a good line. Break all the way back towards the jack. Just sits down and behind it. 6 o'clock, falls in. I'd say may well be shot. Graham Skellin on his forehand. He'll follow that. He'll just follow the Wakefield bowl. And he needs to beat his own, and he would certainly have shot. He's on a wider line than his first. Coming back towards the jack now. Just going to go by the Bruce Wakefield bowl. And it is 1-2 Wakefield. On the backhand, it's all Ross Bell, the marker. Another good bowl here from Bruce Wakefield. This breaking in towards the jack, just arcing towards the jack now. And brushes the jack. Sits right alongside it. Touch up. So Graham Skellin staying on his forehand, trying to get down to the shot bowl. 2 shots with Bruce Wakefield, you saw there, indicated by Ross Bell. And this bowler Scullern's not quite going to need another metre of weight. So Bruce Wakefield will certainly be trying to capitalise now with 2 short bowls from Graham Scullern. Trying to capitalise on that and draw another one close by on the backhand. Scullern going down to have a look. Looks on the tight side though, and it is. Needs a lucky slide to get the jack and a counter, and will do so. A wee bit fortuitous there. Graham Scullern can see now what he wants to play. He can reach up 3 shots. You saw there Ross Bell in the Burnside attire, the green and white Burnside shirt and the black hat. Scullern will be playing with reaching weight for sure on the forehand, and he's playing down with a lot of weight to get to the target area. He might get the outside, got 2 of the bowls, still 1 though to Wakefield. Good bowl there, good reduction bowl there from Graham Scullern. Jack would have been ideal for him. Got the outside of bowl and took out 2 of what were the counting bowls. Bruce Wakefield trying to emulate his earlier bowls, and this is on a good line as well. It's got the weight to get all the way to the jack. It's going to get all the way down. No, it won't. So this be the one. Just to see if that be confirmed by Ross Bell, and it is. The bucket hat on. Bucket hats are very popular. Mike Kernahan is the pioneer of hats, floppy bucket hats. The high performance manager for Bowls New Zealand, and he'll be here today. In fact, celebrated his daughter's wedding yesterday in Hamilton, Kate. And from the messages I got, sounds as though it was a fantastic day up there in Hamilton. And Mike is en route to Christchurch this morning. We'll be watching, no doubt, the next 2 days of his camp of players who are aspiring for Commonwealth Games selection. This event, of course, is very important. COVID, of course, has restricted the ability of the nationals, the international fixtures. So, change of length here, very short head called by Bruce Wakefield. And he's come up short. He's a good 1.5 metres at least short. So Graham Scullern will quickly try and capitalise on that, leading 12-2 in this race to 21 on the backhand. Scullern in the Takapuna shirt, the blue wave as they call it, slightly under the line, and will also be short, just rolls into the Bruce Wakefield bowl, rolls it over once. So Bruce Wakefield will be on his forehand, endeavouring to correct on that who was first. Sitting on a wider line, and so often we'll see a change of length, as we're seeing here, and that change of length can just all of a sudden see bowls that have been previously just inches away on the draw get a bit wider out from the head as players sort of get the feel of a new length. So Graham Scullern looks to be on a very good line here with it a second as it comes now towards the centre line, and let hold up for shot. We just went by. So Bruce Wakefield now opportunity to, with his third bolt, to get really close to the jack and put the pressure on Graham Scullern. Just question that weight still not going to, still leaving Scullern a lot of room, but in saying that, there's also a lot to run into. So here again is Graham Scullern on the backhand, just trying to draw past that bowl of Bruce Wakefield's needs to get past it clean, doesn't, rolls into it and rolls it just closer into the head and sits alongside the jack. Ross Bell indicating quickly with the lollipops that it's 1-2 Bruce Wakefield. Certainly on the wider side, not many shot options on for Scullin coming up to have a look at it, but really you'd think his best option is to try and just skirt past his own bowl and get to the bowl of Bruce Wakefield's. There's no doubt on this particular green, the way how it's running, that it's not. It certainly can draw past his bowl. I think Graham Scullin just wanted to see what the distance was between the jack and the bowl. And I'm about to be joined by captain. I call him the captain of the chart room, and my colleague in commentary, Alex Reid. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, captain of the. I like that, captain of the chart room. I'm not sure what the rest of the chart room would have to say about it, but I'll take it.
I've called that. So that attempt from Graham Scullin just drifted by. Alex, green this morning looks to be first class.
Yes, it does, yes. I've just been looking at the other side of the Burnside Bowling Club where the post section of the men's pairs and women's singles is taking place, and they're playing absolutely lovely as well. Well,
no breeze at all, really, is there? Looking out from here with the trees in the park area, it's all pretty still, and the temperatures lifted up on the barometer from yesterday as well.
Yeah.
It was,
thank goodness.
Yes, it was pretty wintry, wasn't it, yesterday? But it was forecasted. But the next couple of days running us through the completion of the event looks as though that we're certainly going to be get through what I would say an uninterrupted Summerset Nationals, which is great, isn't it?
It's been essentially all you can ask for on the weather front at the Summerset Nationals. We had a little bit of drizzle a couple of days ago just to keep everyone on their toes, but apart from that it's been lovely and the greens have been absolutely beautiful.
Alex, also this year as well, which I think has been a big plus, you used, it would appear, a new draw system, results system, the whole online entry, really lifted into the modern digital environment.
Yeah.
And it's worked well.
Yeah, it has. We're really excited about it. It's called BowlSub Aotearoa. It's based loosely on the Bowls Link system that, if you're from Australia, you might know of. It was developed by Bowls Australia in conjunction with a software company over there, but it allows us to do so many things. It's a database solution as well. So
it's actually Bowls New Zealand's own program now, is it?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Right.
Yep. So it sits on its own website, bowlshub.co.nz, I think, off the top of my head. I should know it really, but it allows access to anyone can access the results in a better way than what they could before, because it sits on the website, so you can have a nosy around. If I was playing the Nationals or you were playing the Nationals, Kevin, I could go onto the BowlSub results portal, which you can get to on the Bowls New Zealand website, and I could search your name and I could see every event that you've entered and how you've gone on it, and every event you've entered and what your draw is for upcoming ones as well.
So following a similar trend to the Golf New Zealand website,
it's all on that vibe,
that they've got, where you can, you can't dodge your handicap very much. Golf is the Golf NZ format doesn't allow that. But the other thing as well, Alex, it seems to be able to ensure you get draws, results out a lot quicker. In a different platform, and
and it's all in one place as well, Kev, so it just reduces the chances of anything going horribly wrong, because it's all sitting on one system. All the results, all the post-section draw, all sits in one place, and everyone has one place to look as well.
So tell me, out there on the greens around Christchurch in this case, for a number of the clubs, this would have been a bit of a new experience on recording the results and all that.
Yeah.
So that's all sort of, no doubt there'll be a few teething issues, that's just natural, but all in all it's all gone
Yeah, it's been great. I can't speak highly enough of the volunteers that we have had around the Canterbury district for the Summerset Nationals. They get on with their jobs and they do them well, and we've changed the system a little bit in results recording. So in the past, you'll remember, Kevin, we used to have a chart room with phones ringing left, right and centre.
Yes, it was. Yes,
a cacophony of noise.
It was like Grand Central Station.
Yeah. It's not quite like that now. We get the recorders at each individual club to take a photo and to either email it to us or text message it to us, and we do the data entry at the headquarters. So it's a much quieter chart room nowadays, and we've just reduced that human error that can happen when you have
and
people
can minimise
talking on
the error factor, which can innocently occur.
Yeah, it just happens. So we're really pleased with the new system and the way the results have gone in and the accuracy of the results as well. And look forward to seeing how it goes, because it can be used by clubs and centres too, which we're excited about.
Surprise shot there from Bruce Wakefield, really sort of charging a bit at the head on the, just seemed a wee bit of a strange shot option. Seemed a difficult track to the jack, and of course went by. 2 down, as Ross Bell had indicated, and Graham Skillen certainly has been drawing very, very well.
Yep, he's on fire. I think the last time he won the singles title, Kevin, from memory, he won it might have been 21-3 or 21-4.
Really?
Yes, yeah, and he got out, I recall it was on the front green at the headquarters Papanui.
Yes.
On rink 6 or 7 maybe, and he just got out of the blocks real fast.
As he's done today.
Yes, yeah, he just couldn't miss. He was putting 4 bowls within a couple of feet, and the opposition blinked, and suddenly 29 points had been scored against him. So I wonder if Graham's got that in the back of his mind going into today's final.
Well, of course, in this format, if you get 2 or 3 good ends go your way, it can certainly change very quickly, can't it? And also, looking around as well while they're measuring in this particular head, some great games out there in both the men's pairs and women's singles, isn't there? There's out here at Burnside, there's got, we've got 2 of our New Zealand squad members and Selena Goddard and Lisa Prideaux up against one another, and Reen Stratford, Nicole Toomey, Taylor Bruce, Jenny Stockford. There's a really, even Angela Boyd, Val Smith, they're big clashes. And I got one quick update of a game that we were just talking about.
Good timing.
That's the Selena Goddard Lisa Prideaux game, and I can tell you that Selena Goddard, 2014 Commonwealth Games bronze medalist, is leading Lisa Prideaux by 12-9 in the race to 21. So again, still anybody's in that in that game, isn't it?
A good game to watch. You'd be pushed to find 2 better deliveries out there on the greens, Kev, between Selena and Lisa.
Yeah, they certainly are. So there was a 2 to Graham Skillern. He's now at a 14-3 lead. And of course, in the men's pairs, we've got some big games like Lance Pascoe, Bradley Downs, Andrew Kelly playing Kerry Becks, Raymond Martin against Russell Daw, Dan Dickinson, Gary Lawson up against Stephen Ditford, Mike Galloway v. Sean Scott, Kelvin Scott against Morris Symes.
Yeah, it's great. It's just some great matchups happening. And you see that at any national event, I suppose, all the good players come out of the woodwork, and they're all looking for that national title. So if you're anywhere around Christchurch, just pop into one of the host clubs for post section, and you'll be guaranteed some good bowls. Well,
using the greens here at Burnside, these 3 greens in action here at Burnside, at the Christchurch Club, Fendledon, Papanui and Belfast. That's where the the various events, either the women's singles or men's pairs are at. So pop in there and you'll certainly see the best in action.
Absolutely, and of course from tomorrow, it's our finals. It's our final day even.
It is. Kev, gone very quick actually.
I blinked and it went, but our final day is going to be at Burnside. There's going to be the quarterfinals, semis and finals of the men's pairs, and the semi and final of the women's singles. And
we'll be bringing coverage on Sky Sport next from 8:30 tomorrow morning, right throughout the day. And again, I got to compliment Tamara, Colin and Alex, who do a wonderful job in getting this production to air, and also some of the other things which are going to be happening, which Bowls New Zealand will let you know about more sort of bowls that you can watch in a post-production environment.
Yes.
Which will be starting very shortly. So, of course, we're still going to be live streaming major events. but there's just giving the bowlers around the countryside a bit more to have the opportunity to watch and listen to.
Absolutely, it's all very, very exciting. And a good bowl there by Bruce Wakefield. He hasn't given up, has he, Kev?
No, he hasn't. He is a tenacious player. Always has been, and a very, very good player. And Graham Scullen has got those early ends, and he's just continuing that relentless draw, as we just see here. We complimented that bowl of Bruce Wakefield's, and Graham Scullen just, straight away, Drew just sat on top of that, the shot bowl. So
they'll know each other quite well too, won't they, Kev? I think they play a lot of pairs together, Graham
yes, they do.
And Bruce.
They do. And, of course, both vying to try and make that side to go away to the UK as part of the Commonwealth Games. It's been interesting talking to Brett O'Reilly. He was in with me during the coverage of the men's singles, and how world bowls, with the hope or aim to get bowls part of the world, the Olympics in 2032, the very important role that the para bowls and blind bowls will play in that hopeful positive outcome.
Yeah, it will be fantastic, and it's just, I think we spoke about it yesterday when we were commentating the BLBA finals, but it is a sport that literally anyone can play this game, and anyone can play it well. So, show me another game where so many different types of people and different people can compete at a high level, and I would be very surprised.
Well, I learned a lot yesterday, actually, listening, for example, on the mic to Kevin Smith during the blind bowls. And when you consider the gentleman that he was the director of, who 12 months ago's vision was about 8 feet, it's now been reduced to about 4 feet. And for these guys to be able, and ladies, to be out there playing, and the performance they gave us, outstanding.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Wakefield unlucky there.
Just slightly overplayed, so we see Graham Scullen score at least another point, maybe 2, and continue that sort of march towards 21 that he's trying to get. I think we'll see what the guy puts up on the scoreboard. It's either 1 or 2.
14-3, and as Alex rightly said, either 1 or 2. Just the 1.
1. It's 15-3 lead now for Graham Scullen.
And the other thing which I learnt as well, Alex, yesterday was the very important role that those directors play for those particular players.
Yes.
The message that they get and how they relay it to them around distances and locations and links to the jack, all sorts of things.
Yeah, amazing communication.
And it's certainly, and talking to Kevin Smith, and I'm certainly going to be having a conversation with Auckland Bowls on my return, now that we've got Leif Selby on board in the staff at Auckland Bowls. Great opening bowl here from Graham Scullen.
Yeah. That
I think in the Auckland Counties, North Harbour area, that there's more than likely, we are the game for all, and I think, at a younger age group, people who unfortunately have had a visual impairment or other things have happened to them, that we need to be doing our utmost to create an environment
totally agree.
For a sport for them to go out and enjoy in the sunshine.
Yes, yep, totally. We see Bruce Wakefield there just playing for bowl or jack, and he found that a bowl-sized gap and got him between the middle. It feels like that's sort of how his game's been going.
Yeah,
so far.
He's gone through some gaps very early in the game as well. I just sat outside a bowl. But the thing about Graham Scullen is that his consistent drawing within, say, 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet, is certainly, it just puts, as Alex, it just really puts. There's the first 2 bowls, pretty handy. It just pressure can mount very quickly on the head, can't it?
Particularly when you're 15-3 up as well. It's just that added pressure because your opposition's going 2 more points there and check out range.
Correct.
6 more points. I've lost the game. I need to be effective with my first 2 bowls.
And of course, you also know very well that, well, I'm down on the head, I can't be short, I've got to try and get into the... And so it is very challenging to watch this bowler. Great example here, great line, right back to that centre line, but it's that couple of metres of weight, and of course it enables Graham Scullin to control and dictate the head and the positioning of the bowls.
And from the mat side, that'll look like such a tough bowl to play, because although Graham's bowl, that's a bowl over the jack to our left, as we see it on the screen, you can get around that short one and rest that. It'll look like such a tough bowl to play from the mat end, and even more difficult now.
Well, I'm just going to say,
like
it just became harder, didn't it, on that hand, and I think rightly, yes, we're going to see a change of hand from Bruce Wakefield.
Onto his forehand. See how it goes. It looks a bit tight to me.
It does look tight.
He's got the weight.
Well, he's got weight. Does it get to the jack off a slide?
Let's see if he gets a good result or not. Yeah, there's your gap.
What you spoke about before, Alex, isn't it? That when when you're going for it, you can be just lucky which one just then,
Yeah. So he's steering down the barrel. He should be 4 down by the time he plays his last bowl.
So what do you do then? Go for a second shot and play it again?
Well, there's your question, Kev. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the answer is. Usually you commit, you go bang, bang, I'll spend 2 bowls on a shot. But you don't want to drop a 4, so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here.
Well, Graham Scullin's certainly not going for cover, is he? He's quite confident of drawing to the head and adding that pressure. And if
he moves it, it's not that great for him.
No, now it's... Yeah, there's 4 at 15. What do you do? It's a dilemma for Bruce Wakefield, the Burnside player.
Big bowl here.
On his forehand, and looks to be more on draw weight.
Oh, it's going to miss wide. It's going to miss wide. There's a 4 there to Graham Scullin. Bruce will be disappointed with that. And Graham really, really close to that title, that singles title that he's trying to win back.
Well, it's as we said, Alex, and we spoke about the other day as well, and talking with Brett O'Reilly in that singles match there with Kelvin Scott. It's that first bowl pressure.
Yep.
It's real, isn't it?
It is. It is. And when you can do it consistently, it just end after end after end. That's how you run away with the game. And Graham's done that brilliantly.
Well, that's how we saw Kelvin Scott get to 15-3 in that final of the men's singles, and full marks to Tony Grantham, who hung in, came back, etc. But it's that first bowl pressure which is which could certainly be the killer, and it is. Alan does a great job every day. Delivers the iced water.
What more could you ask for?
Oh, well, I've had the pleasure of covering events at Burnside, including the World Bowls in 2008, 2016. And of course national championships, Burnside peers, and you're always looked after at Burnside. They do a wonderful job, great catering, great facilities, and certainly a club to be. The members are very proud of their club here at Burnside.
Oh, and it is rightly so. It's a brilliant club. It's a perfect club to host large events, isn't it, Kev?
It certainly is, yes.
What more could you ask for? They've got plenty of space, plenty of rooms, beautiful greens. The catering's good. There's a bar. There's air conditioning in the chart room. I could go on.
The other day we could have done some air conditioning down here, actually, Alex. It was pretty... Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I've got a watermelon if it gets warm again.
Yes, well, that's tomorrow.
For the final day. Yes. It's the final day watermelon.
Yeah, it's supposed to, the sundial is supposed to really crank up, I believe. He's Scally on
the drive.
On the drive early, looking for the shot bowl, or Jack just going to go by.
Great effort.
That's showing you something, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's the intentions.
Now, you're 19-3 up. He could afford to adopt an aggressive game plan.
Well, he's got second shot sitting Jack level, right? Yeah. So, can I run the Jack straight back into the ditch? And then
absolutely,
from Bruce Wakefield's point of view, he needs to score, so he'll be playing to the head. No sense in going for cover at 19-3 down.
Yeah, he needs to score 18 points in the same time that Skelly needs to score 2 points, doesn't he? So there's just
that bowl though may well change Graham Scullin's attack shot, because it's
looks like he's on his backhand.
Yeah, it's sitting in behind in between the 2 metre mark and the ditch. So Skillern will be more on the conservative side.
Yeah, close here.
And by goodness, he's giving this a show. Just going to drop under. And I still wouldn't be surprised to be attacked with his last.
Yeah, well, he's got, he's building that second and third sort of thing. Depending on where Bruce goes, he could get a magic result and clear both bowls off for 2 for the win.
Absolutely. If he could
get it square enough, it just takes the back one off along with it. See what this bowl does here.
Well, it depends if this goes in between the port where those bowls are, and will do so that cuts that shot out of the book. Scullin had a chance to play the bowl with weight all the way through and lay 2 and put the pressure on Bruce Wakefield. Now it's Wakefield holding 2, trailing 19 shots to 3. And
yes.
Ians don't count.
No, you just get to 21. We used to play 2 ends, so didn't we, Kev? It used to be 21 ends of bowls for singles in New Zealand.
I've played all sorts of ends, played all sorts of formats. There's been, in singles, there's been 25, there's been 31, there's been, I can remember the long ago games in the Nationals and the Fours. 25 ends was the go. 8 games, like the Taranaki Open.
We briefly tried that again.
Yeah.
It can stay at Taranaki, I think.
It's got its place. It works for Taranaki. Here's Graham Skillern. He's trying to get down to the jack here.
Close.
This is a great attempt here.
What a bomb.
What a bowl that is from Graham Skillern, sitting on 19.
That's a champion's bowl, isn't
That's fantastic bowl. Just drew, changed his hand, and just got clean into the jack, caressed it round the corner.
Every time Bruce has had a sniff of a chance, there was an opportunity there. He would have felt probably like he was going to score 1, maybe 2 points.
It looked like a 2-shot head, wasn't it, really, for him?
Absolutely, and Graham's just snuffed it out. I think Bruce needs to be aggressive here. You could punch through his short bowl if he wanted to.
Onto his own. He's got the back in his favour.
On his forehand, get it square. It cannons out. If you don't get it square, it might kill. But you've got to, you've got second, third, and fourth shot. Is it easier to hit a bowl or to try and draw around that and get within a few inches?
Well, I know the greens are very, very good here. But when you're 90, you're going to be 20 to 3 down, possibly. So, what are the percentage shots to get to the shot itself? The draw would be a great shot to be able to get it, but percentage shots to me is to try and
I agree.
Sort of dislodge, run into something, give it a belt.
Yeah. On his forehand, I suspect. Maybe. No, we'll know in a second, Kev.
He's going to back himself on the draw. And he's had a good look at where the jack lies in relation to the shot bowl.
Weight, as it just needs to break back more.
Well, it was a great attempt, to be fair, Alex, wasn't it? He couldn't be short.
Yep.
And, to judge the line as well, to get around that front bowl of Bruce Wakefield.
Jack, it was a fair effort.
It was a pretty effort. And Graham Skillern now goes to all but at 20 to 3. And this race to 21.
He'll just be thinking, 1 more point, keep doing what I'm doing, and this game ain't going to go that much longer.
No, well, he's been pretty commanding. He's been
very impressive. I think a great display from Graham Skillern so far in this final. I commentated a game once with you, Kev, and it was between Tony Fabling and Shannon McElroy. And I recall having an opinion that the game might not be going that much longer. And then it went way longer, and then the person I thought was going to win didn't win. So I've learnt my lesson from that commentary stint.
But that was a game for the records, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That particular one. That was, that was at the Carlton Cornwall Club, and and the other thing, going back to that particular game, Alex, the standard of the bowls was just. It was
unbelievable. To be fair.
It was fantastic, wasn't it?
So we see Graham lead off his first bowl a few feet away. It's about right. And Bruce will be looking to just try draw inside that. You just do it step at a time when you're at 17 points down. you stop worrying too much about scoring your big points. I think you just worry about getting end after end after end now. You just want to start trying to chip away.
Well, it's the old story. If you score one, the opposition scores none.
Yep, and you want Bruce will want Graham to have to play his last bowl to win this match.
Yes, and that. So here's Graham Scullin, the Taranaki born.
On his forehand, taking a high line with this one.
And I was saying earlier on, Alex, in the commentary,
Brilliant.
Was a more than capable tennis player in his younger days at the Huatoki Tennis Club in New Plymouth. Yes. Yeah, there was a gentleman there, Alan Berry, he used to get all the young locals, take them down to the Huatoki courts, where we all lived, and around that area, and Graham was part of that
group.
Yes, he was.
Interesting. Nope, Bruce, he's probably, I don't know, he might have been looking to sit a bowl or move the jack back a little bit there.
Question, with the way how those bowls are faced, I know you've got rest on the bowl there, because the danger is you just crimp your line down there under those jack low bowls by a fraction.
Yeah, it's not so good.
And you're going to disappear very quickly.
Got Graham still on his forehand. He's taken that lovely line. It should break back underneath that bowl. There we go.
And that's exactly where it'll want the bowl to be.
Good shot there.
Because now we've got both hands on the draw, and it's interesting now that Wakefield persisted.
On the back end, looks tight again. If he's got extra weight, it might hold up, but it's looking like Wakefield's going to have to play a good last bowl to hold the shot. Like we say, I never like my opposition to win a game of singles against me. Well, I never like that, but I never like it when they don't have to play their last bowl to win it.
Yeah, well, but Graham Scullin has been outstanding in this game. There's only been, I would say, a couple of loose bowls. The Takapuna play up, and he's electing to change his hand now, which is more about cover, I'd say, more than doesn't need any more bowls on the head, doesn't need to push the numbers up. Just coming down, I would say, you'll see the line of 3 bowls down here, the Wakefield bowls, but there's going to be short, and he actually won't be too concerned about that.
I think he was just checking. I think he'll just let go of a bowl. I'm holding the win.
And really what he's saying to Bruce Wakefield is, well, you play the shot.
Yeah.
You're going to play the shot to win it. So
and here we go. This is going to decide if we continue on with this final or if Graham Scullin is crowned our champion for this year, the 2022 Summerset Nationals. He's given this a fair effort, has Bruce. He needs it to break back.
Just going to be outside it.
A little bit wide.
There it is. And we've seen now Graham Scullin, very, very convincing. Graham Scullin of the Takapuna Club of North Harbour up against Bruce Wakefield of the Burnside Club here in Christchurch. And convincing, really.
Yes, it was a commanding display. Very well played by Graham. He's now won two of these titles, and I think he scored 42 points, and his opposition might have scored 6 against him in that time. So what can you say? Congratulations to Graham Scullin. We'll be back, won't we, Kevin?
Yes, we'll be back with the pairs, Caroline Crawford up against Snow Reardon in the pairs. That game will be, we'll be covering that game. And of course, when we come back with that, we'll also give some updates as I gather some updates from around that of the men's pairs and women's singles post section here at the Summerset National Bowls at Burnside and Christchurch. This is Kevin Hicklin and Alex Reid, and we'll be back with the pairs in about 30 minutes.